Have you ever been on the verge of achieving something great, whether it's a goal, a dream, or even a relationship, only to find yourself mysteriously hesitating, holding back, or even sabotaging your own progress? It feels like an invisible force is working against you, manifesting as doubt, procrastination, or unexplained resistance. But what if this isn't just random? What if there's a deeper psychological reason hidden deep within your unconscious mind? According to the renowned Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung, self-sabotage isn't just a bad habit. It's a battle between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Unresolved emotions, hidden fears, and suppressed beliefs quietly manifest and shape our behavior, often without us realizing it. Today, we'll dive deep into Jung's profound insights on self-sabotage, uncovering why it happens, and more importantly, how you can break free from it once and for all. Stick around because the truth might just change how you see yourself and the world forever. Carl Jung explained that the unconscious mind lies deep down beneath the surface, which drives much of behavior. It guides our actions in ways we often cannot see nor understand. Unlike the conscious mind, the unconscious, which is where our shadow is, cannot be easily controlled. But how is this related to the concept of self-sabotage? Jung argued that self-sabotage occurs when there is a conflict between our fears stemming from the unconscious mind and our goals stemming from the conscious mind. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself consciously wanting to succeed at something, but deep down you keep experiencing fear of failure or rejection caused due to past experiences? That's your unconscious mind trying to sabotage your conscious goal. These unconscious fears usually come in the form of procrastination, self-doubt, and escapism, which are all self-sabotaging behaviors keeping you from achieving your goals and desires. But these hidden fears don't just exist in our unconscious mind. They are part of what Jung called the shadow, which represents all the dark hidden secrets of our personality that we work so hard to reject and hide because they are considered unacceptable by society. But here is the twist. The shadow is not always evil as we consider it to be. It may actually be a pathway to achieving our true potential, as Jung explained. The more we try to ignore and avoid the shadow, the more power it has over our conscious mind and inherently our lives. Jung argued that when we suppress those things we consider negative, they don't just disappear, they become part of our shadow, which comes back to influence our conscious behavior in certain situations. That's how self-sabotage works. It creeps through our shadow and takes over our conscious quest for success with fear. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself stuck in an endless cycle of repetitive patterns, which even though you know they are only holding you back, you just can't seem to break them? It may be in the form of procrastination or a self-doubt, but ultimately you end up giving up and abandoning that goal or desire of yours you have been working towards. These unconscious patterns are not random. They are messages that something buried beneath. Your shadow is influencing your conscious mind, which causes self-sabotage. This raises a question. If our unconscious mind in the form of our shadow is in conflict with our conscious goals and desires, what can we do? Can we eliminate the unconscious mind completely without affecting its counterpart, or do we bring both together to make them whole? Jung believed that the formula to overcoming self-sabotage is by integrating what he called individuation. He explained that the concept of individuation means integrating both the conscious and unconscious parts of the mind and making them into one single entity. This means becoming aware of and embracing our shadow and all that it contains, which marks the start of our journey to overcoming self-sabotage. The first step to overcoming self-sabotage is becoming aware of the repeating behaviors in your life, those emotions that cause you to always react in a certain way. To do this, you need to be able to have a sense of honest self-reflection and willingness to dig deep into your unconscious. You need to face those emotions that you have been trying so hard to reject and bury deep. Only then will you be able to set yourself towards the journey of achieving individuation. As we dig deeper into Jung's philosophy on how to overcome self-sabotage, we will uncover his teachings on how to bring the conscious and the unconscious mind to make them one, and how this process can transform your life. You will also discover that the true key to overcoming self-sabotage lies in embracing and integrating your shadow. But let's first explore how self-sabotage is formed in our unconscious mind, how it manifests in our shadow, and how we can reclaim it. Knowing that self-sabotage exists is merely enough. We need to understand how it takes root and why it has such a powerful influence on us. Jung explained that self-sabotage is caused as a result of unresolved conflicts within our inner cycle, between what we desire consciously and how our unconscious keeps restricting us to what it considers acceptable. By learning about our conscious and unconscious, we learn to understand the kind of situations we need to avoid, which might have caused us pain in the past, even though these experiences are deeply buried in our unconscious. But it doesn't mean they are gone forever. Instead, they serve as a means of protecting us from immediate emotional discomfort, which is not all good, since that means limiting us from reaching our full potential. Over time, the fear we refuse to embrace becomes so ingrained in our shadow that we end up embracing them as part of who we are, causing us to keep struggling internally. Carl Jung also believed that these fears are often found in what he called the complexes, which are clusters of emotionally charged memories, feelings, and thoughts that are buried in our unconscious mind. These complexes are formed when we experience a particular situation that triggers emotions we are unable to process at the time. For instance, imagine someone who has a fear of failure. Perhaps they were constantly compared to others during their childhood. As time goes on, this experience will create a complex around that fear. Even though they strive to succeed, their unconscious minds keep operating on the belief that failure is inevitable, and as a result, they end up self-sabotaging by procrastinating or even giving up completely. The complex is an integral part of the psyche, which, if not confronted, will continue to influence one's behavior in ways that lead to self-sabotage. The key to overcoming these complexes is awareness, according to Jung. He believed that by becoming aware of our complex, we can begin to understand how it was formed and how it affects us. Confronting these complexes is not an easy task, but one that is necessary towards breaking free from its hold. So how can we identify and unravel the complexes embedded in our unconscious? These rejected emotions and experiences are often triggered by specific occurrences or individuals that tend to remind us about what happened in the past, consciously or unconsciously. For instance, have you ever found yourself constantly feeling defensive in certain situations? That's a clue that a complex might be at play. Take note of this and ask yourself, why are you reacting that way, and what does this remind you of? By incorporating this process of self-reflection, we can bring these unconscious patterns to the surface and also reduce the power they tend to have over us. According to Jung, true awareness only takes place when we acknowledge and embrace the parts of ourselves that we have been avoiding, which have formed the complexes deep in our unconscious. But that's just the start. The next step is integration, which is the process of becoming whole and accepting both those behaviors we consider acceptable and those that we don't. Integration involves bringing together both the conscious and unconscious parts of the psyche to make a whole. This doesn't mean eliminating the complexes. Instead, it means learning to work with these parts of ourselves in a way that it benefits us rather than pulls us back. By integrating, we can stop self-sabotaging and start the journey towards achieving our true potential. But how can we start the process of individuation? Carl Jung suggested one powerful tool he called active imagination. It is a technique where we allow the unconscious to interact with us whether through visions, dreams, or spontaneous thoughts. This gives us the ability to gain insight into the deeper parts of ourselves and start the process of integrating them into our conscious mind. But that's not all. Jung also emphasized the dream analysis technique. He argued that dreams are a passage into the unconscious that offers valuable clues about our complexes. By reflecting on the symbolic meanings of our dreams, we can gain a deeper understanding of the unconscious. But this process also comes at the price of patience and self-compassion. Facing the unconscious is not easy, and it can be tempting for one to want to run back to old habits of denial and avoidance. As we dig deeper into Jung's theory, we will explore how to apply his insights practically in our lives to break the cycle of self-sabotage and foster personal growth. By the end of this journey, you will gain a deeper understanding of how you can harness the power of the unconscious to overcome self-sabotage and create the life you truly want. But before we go any further, ask yourself these questions. Are there specific areas in your life where you see self-sabotage showing up and consistently holding you back? If yes, identify these areas, as that will tell you the experience that led to their manifestation from the unconscious mind. Jung explained that one powerful way to overcome self-sabotage and dismantle the patterns it manifests from is through self-reflection. He believed that self-awareness is an important component of personal growth, and that true transformation begins when we can honestly examine ourselves. But self-reflection requires a deeper dive into your unconscious to uncover your fears and desires, which can be uncomfortable but incredibly liberating if done the right way. When you are able to identify the complexes in the unconscious that have been driving you to self-sabotage, you gain the power to change them. For instance, you might realize that your constant procrastination is not just because you are lazy, but it's a way to protect yourself from the discomfort of stepping out of your comfort zone. Once you can bring these complexes into your consciousness, you get rid of the power they have over you. But the question is, how do we confront these in a meaningful way? Carl Jung made a profound suggestion of facing the shadow directly and acknowledging the parts you have rejected and buried deep down before. By bringing these parts of yourself into light, you can start integrating them into your conscious mind to make you whole. Another practical way to engage with the shadow is journaling, sparing some time each and every day to record your thoughts, feelings, and experiences, especially in those moments you feel the element of self-sabotage creeping in you. But to make the best out of this method, you need to write without censoring yourself and allow all your thoughts to flow onto the pages. This method will help you create a safe space to explore the unconscious parts of yourself. But here is the twist. This journey of overcoming self-sabotage is not just about introspection. You need to take action in order to break the cycle. You need to challenge the patterns you have uncovered by taking the necessary steps. The key is to make the first move, even if it feels uncomfortable. Remember, the more you face your fears and take necessary steps going forward, the weaker the effect of self-sabotage becomes, and the easier it will be for you to break free. You can start this by creating new habits that support your conscious desires and goals. By consciously doing so, you can begin to realign your brain and break free from those old, destructive patterns striving in your unconscious. For instance, if you battle with procrastination as a form of self-sabotage, you might create a habit of working for just a few minutes and then take a break. This may sound like nothing, but this manageable step can help you overcome the initial resistance and keep developing towards achieving your goals. Self-compassion is also something important that needs to be developed. Overcoming self-sabotage is about understanding why those behavioral patterns exist and treating yourself with kindness and compassion as you work towards overcoming them. Carl Jung also believed that acceptance is a crucial part of our journey to individuation. When we can accept our whole selves, including our imperfections and flaws, we free ourselves from the need to sabotage our own efforts out of fear. Next, we'll explore how these concepts come together in the process of achieving individuation, and how we can use Jung's profound insights to create a life where we can achieve our goals and desires after overcoming self-sabotage. We will also look deeper into the spiritual implications of Jung's theories and how accepting our shadow can lead to a profound sense of fulfillment. Stay with us, you have come this far. What comes next will bring everything together in a way that will transform how you see yourself in the world. It will help you realize your potential and your place in the world. We must now turn our attention to the earlier discussed Jung's concept of individuation to get the broader picture, which represents the ultimate goal of our journey to overcoming self-sabotage. Jung explained that individuation is the process by which we become whole by integrating both our conscious and unconscious minds together so they are no longer separated or at odds with each other. He argued that self-sabotage is caused as the result of inner division, whereby your conscious and unconscious minds keep conflicting with each other. These conflicts are what manifest as behavioral patterns to undermine your progress and success. But the concept of individuation provides a path to reconciling these conflicts, embracing all the parts you have once rejected and moving towards a state of wholeness. But Jung argues that individuation is not just a personal journey, it is also a spiritual one. It is about uncovering one's deeper meaning and purpose in life. While the journey towards achieving individuation can be challenging, requiring us to confront our painful truths and break free from societal expectations, ultimately, it is liberating. It gives you the power to reach your true potential and live with authenticity, free from the chains of self-sabotage. But how can we know that we are moving towards individuation when we put it into practice? Jung listed out some key principles that can serve as guides on this journey. And as we start to explore them, it is of significance to remember that individuation cannot be achieved in a single move. Rather, it is a lifelong process. Each step you take towards overcoming self-sabotage and achieving your true potential is a step towards a more satisfying life. One of the principles that Jung emphasized is the concept of holding tension of opposites. According to him, you should be able to hold two contradictory truths at once without letting one overshadow the other, without rushing to resolve the tension between them. For instance, you might have a deep desire to achieve a particular goal, but you also have a fear or the pressure that comes with it. Instead of choosing one side or the other, Jung encouraged us to hold the tension between the two opposing forces and allow the emergence of a third, deeper resolution. This process usually leads to new insights and personal breakthroughs that would not have been possible if you had simply let one side overshadow the other. This concept is important in the journey of overcoming self-sabotage because these behavioral patterns often emerge from our inability to find a common ground between our conscious desire and our unconscious fear that is holding us back. By accepting both your desire for growth and the fear within you, you can develop an insight and a deeper understanding of what is truly driving your behavior, which will allow you to develop new ways to move forward. But that's not all. Another key principle that Jung identified is the power of creativity and imagination. He believed that creativity comes as a natural form of expression of the unconscious mind and a powerful tool for self-discovery. Creativity can come in the form of music, art writing, or any other creative outlet you can engage yourself in. Engaging with our imagination makes it possible for us to access parts of ourselves that have been hidden for long. It provides an avenue for us to engage with our unconscious and bring its insight into the light of our consciousness. Let's try putting this into practice to gain a better understanding. For instance, you are struggling with self-sabotage while trying to achieve something in your life. To gain an insight into what is really going on, you might choose to use creative expression to unravel what is going on beneath the surface. Maybe draw a picture of what your fear looks like. Write a story about how you feel, or even engage in a conversation with your unconscious mind through journaling. These several forms of creative exercises will give you the ability to interact with your unconscious in a more intuitive way, which often ends up revealing insights that can't be understood through logic alone. Jung also emphasized the significance of cultivating a connection to something greater he called the self. The self represents the totality of the psyche, including both the conscious and the unconscious. By connecting with the self, you gain access to a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in your life. This connection often comes through continuous practices like contemplation, meditation, or engagement with symbols that resonate with your unconscious mind. It is essential to develop a connection with the self while integrating your unconscious. This can be achieved through regular introspection or engaging with spiritual traditions that resonate with you. The goal here is not to overlook the struggles of life, but to embrace them with a deeper sense of inner purpose and tranquility. When you become completely aligned with the self, you gain the ability to navigate through the hoops that life keeps throwing at you without getting pulled back by self-sabotaging behaviors manifesting in your unconscious. So far, we have explored the shadow and its manifestation in our unconscious mind and the complexes that contribute to self-sabotage. We have also unraveled Jung's practical strategies for confronting these self-sabotaging behaviors and overcoming them. Finally, we have dived more into Jung's concept of individuation and the significance of connecting with the self. Remember, the journey to overcoming self-sabotage is not easy. It's not a one-time thing. Instead, it is a continuous process that requires ongoing self-awareness, cultivation, courage, and dedication to personal growth. As you become more conscious of your unconscious mind and begin to integrate those parts you have been trying so hard to avoid and reject, you will discover that you no longer experience self-sabotage. You gain the ability to achieve whatever goal you desire and ultimately reach your true potential. Carl Jung has provided us with profound insights to help us in our journey of understanding and overcoming self-sabotage. By uncovering your unconscious mind, bringing it into light, integrating the shadow, and embracing the process of individuation, you will cultivate the ability to break free from the behavioral patterns that have been sabotaging you all along. The journey is not easy, but it's one that is necessary, as it will lead you to profound transformation and a deeper sense of tranquility. But how do you start the journey? It all starts with honest self-reflection. Start by asking yourself these questions. What's that behavioral pattern that keeps holding you back whenever you set towards achieving something? And how is that related to your past experiences? What would it look like if you were able to break those patterns and move forward? The answer lies within you, and you just need to reach out and get it. All it will take is your willingness to confront your shadow, understand your complexes, and trust the journey. Remember, it's not easy, but it is important if you really want to overcome the chains of self-sabotage that keep holding you back and achieve your true potential. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.